Hi, this is Leanne with Learn English with Be Global. Today we will be learning about kitchen and cooking vocabulary. So we're going to start with ways to prepare food. There are quite a few different ways to prepare food. Let's get started. One way to prepare food is to beat the food. This is something that you will definitely find in an instruction list. Beat means to mix quickly. The word beat is usually used with eggs. Eggs have a yellow part and a white part. The yellow part is called the yolk. The white part is called the white of the egg, or the egg white. When you beat an egg, you should be combining the egg, or the white of the egg, with the yolk of the egg. Let's check out the next word. Now, pay attention because the next word is carve. Carve is usually used for meat. When you carve something, you cut it into thin slices. Look at this man here. This man here is carving meat. You can see that he is using a large fork-like tool and a large carving knife. Using the knife, he makes slices of meat. Let's look at the next word. The next word is cut. When you cut something, you separate it or divide it by using a knife, like this. Cut is to separate or divide by using a knife. The next word is chop. When you chop something, you cut it into very small pieces. Let's take a look at a picture of what chop looks like. These will be some chopped vegetables. Here are the pieces of vegetables that have been cut into small pieces. They have been chopped. The next word is break. Break means to separate into smaller pieces by force. If you break, for example, a window, maybe your younger sibling has done this. They might throw a ball and the window will shatter. It will break into many tiny pieces. When you break something for a recipe, it's often referring to something like spaghetti. When spaghetti is raw and has not been cooked yet, you often want to take the spaghetti like this and break it in half so that you can put it in the pot and boil it more easily. Just wait, we will be learning the word boil. Let's take a look at break. As we just learned, break means to separate into smaller parts by force. Like we said, this could be used with spaghetti. The next word is crush. Crush means to separate or flatten. Let's take a look at the picture. Here we can see an example of what it means to crush garlic. When you crush something, you separate or flatten it. Often in recipes, you will be asked to crush garlic. You can do this with a knife, or you can do this with a mortar and pestle as pictured in the picture. Grate is the next word. Grate means to divide into small parts by rubbing on a serrated surface. Now, serrated is a big word. It basically means that there are a bunch of tiny holes on the surface of the instrument that are sharp. So when you rub the cheese over the serrated surface, it will actually turn into shreds. That is what we call grating the cheese. Let's take a look at an example of that. Grate, to divide into small parts by rubbing on a serrated surface. Here we can see the tool with the serrated surface. Here we can see the grated cheese or the shredded cheese. This was created by rubbing the block of cheese on the serrated surface. Mince, to grind or chop food into very small pieces. Here we see an example of minced garlic. I like garlic, so I'm using it for a lot of these examples. You can see that the garlic is very finely chopped. Finely chopped is another way of saying minced. Finely refers to the fact that the pieces are very, very small. Slice, to cut into thin, wide portions. Portions refers to the amount of food that you get. Slice is how you cut something. Normally, bread is sliced. At a restaurant, you could ask for a slice of bread. Here is an example of 2 slices of bread. When you knead something, it means to press and stretch dough, usually used with making bread. Here we can see that this person is stretching and pressing the bread. This could turn into bread. The next word is mix. When you mix something, you usually have it in a bowl and you go like this very rapidly because you want all of the ingredients, all of the things in the bowl to be combined. You want all of the ingredients to combine together. Let's take a look at the official definition. Mix, to combine 2 or more things using a spoon, spatula, or electric mixer. Have you ever had a cheese sandwich before? Have you ever cooked with butter? If you answered yes to either of those 2 questions, you already know what the word melt means. Let's look at the official definition. Melt, to make something liquid by heating it. The next word is peel. You can peel many fruits and vegetables. When you peel something, you are taking the skin off of the fruit or vegetable. Let's look at a picture. Peel, to take the skin off fruits, vegetables, garlic, etc. Here, we can see an example of an orange peel. This has been taken off of the orange, so the orange has been peeled. The next word has to do with liquid. If we had 2 cups of water and I did this, I just poured water into the other glass. Now, what if I wanted to pour this water into this glass? Let's pour it. Now you understand pour. Pour, to transfer liquid from one container to another. The next thing I'd like to talk about is stir. Now, the word stir is very similar to the word mix. But when you mix something, you're often mixing this way and up and down and side to side. When you stir something, you're going in a circular motion. Imagine I have a big bowl of cookie dough because I want to make chocolate chip cookies. But in order to combine the ingredients, I need to stir the ingredients in the bowl. Stir, to mix liquid ingredients by moving a spoon around in a circular motion. Now, I'd like to talk about a couple different ways to cook something. Cook means to prepare food by heating it, so the food is not raw. Essentially, when you cook something, you are adding heat to it using a stove, a grill, or something similar. The next word I would like to introduce to you is bake. Here in America, we have a very popular holiday. You've probably heard of it, called Thanksgiving. During Thanksgiving, we bake many dishes in the oven. Baking is a very popular way to cook something. When you bake food, you cook it in an oven by using heat. Here we can see an oven. This part is usually referred to as the oven, and this part is referred to as the stove top. If your recipe tells you to use the stove, put the pot here. If the recipe says to bake the food, put it in the oven. One very popular summer activity is barbecuing. People love to barbecue, and a lot of the time they only barbecue meats. In reality, you can barbecue or grill either meats or vegetables. You want to make sure that you have a very good barbecue sauce. Here in Texas, where I live, many people have made delicious recipes for barbecue sauce. Then, after marinating the meat in the barbecue sauce, they put it on the grill. Barbecue. To cook foods, often meat, on a grill by using fire or coals. Here, we can see the meat on the grill or the barbecue. You can use either word. Underneath the meat, we can see hot coals. These hot coals are providing the heat so that the meat will cook. When you grill something, it's very similar to barbecuing something. Depending on where you are speaking English, normally grill and barbecue are used replaceably. Either word can be used. Now we're almost done with this lesson. I just want to teach you a couple more words. The first is boil. Boiling is very common. You are probably very familiar with hard-boiled eggs. You can also boil vegetables and meats. If you are making a soup, you're probably going to boil it. Boil. To heat water until little bubbles form. Broiling is used when you need to cook something on a very, very, very high heat. You still use the oven in this case, but you need to turn up the heat very high. Broil. To cook meat or vegetables on a rack with an extremely high temperature. Personally, I love Chinese food. Chinese food is often made with a wok, and they use a term called stir fry to describe the way the food is cooked. Let's look at the definition for fry. Fry. To cook by putting the food into extremely hot oil. Here we can see paneer, an Indian dish that is being fried in a pan. Depending on the type of food you're making, you may have to heat the pan and the oil first, and possibly even season the oil before putting in the food. As I mentioned before, here in America, we go crazy over cooked turkeys. We just love them. One way to cook a turkey is to roast the turkey. Let's look at an example of a roasted bird. Roast. To cook in the oven or over a fire. Here we can see a roast chicken. Doesn't that look delicious? If you are worried about your health and trying to avoid fatty foods in your diet, a good alternative or other option to frying food is to steam it. You can steam pretty much any vegetable. Let's take a look. Steam. To cook by placing the food above boiling water. Here we can see some steamed cauliflower with green sauce. Thanks for watching. That's all for today. If you liked the video, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment below. Bye!